Yeah, and again, it's kind of coming in incrementally. So a lot of these counties, as I said, there's this big division between the vote by mail and the same day, and it's kind of unclear in a lot of these counties. We just don't have enough to say. But one county where we're getting real close, and I think is going to be a very big indicator here, we've talked about this, is Lackawanna County, where Scranton is, and now 90% of the vote is in. And we were looking at this a few minutes ago, and we were saying again that we expected Trump to close, to cut into the lead that Harris had. It was at about 6.5, 7 before. Now with 90%, and you can see he's cut it a little bit. It's down to 5 points. And remember what we're looking for in Lackawanna County. There's two very different ways this has played out in the last two elections. In 2016, Donald Trump got close to only about 3 points behind here. He won the state of Pennsylvania. In 2020, Democrats with Joe Biden came in and won this by more than 8 points. Biden won the state. So we were saying at the start of the night, Trump wants this number, Democrats want that number. Right now, it's sitting right in between them. It's sitting at 5. So there's still some same day to come in. Let's see this remaining 10%, what that does to this margin. Again, the same day seems to be favoring Trump. How much is it going to favor Trump? Is it going to bring it down back to this level completely? Is it going to stabilize? But that's the most complete county we have in Pennsylvania right now. And I think we said at the start of the night, it's a very key one, because this region where Scranton is, where Lackawanna County is, this is very contested political terrain. I could just show you some of the other counties here. Luzerne County, this is where Wilkes-Barre is. This is also where the city of Hazleton is. Hazleton is a majority Hispanic city. Donald Trump actually won Hazleton in 2020. Again, Trump campaign thinks it can make more gains with Hispanic voters. If they do, you'll see it here. About half the vote is in Luzerne County. And again, the same day is what's still to come here. So Trump's leading by 8 points now. He won this county by more than 14 in 2020. Question for the Trump campaign wants to get over that number. They want to improve on that number here. If the Democrats can stop them from doing that, that's a big development for Democrats. We want to go back and look at Georgia because, again, and Joy was just talking about this, the suburban support for Democrats in this Atlanta metro area. Something interesting is happening. There are some suburban counties here. You call them kind of the emerging suburbs of the Atlanta metro area, where the growth is the fastest and the diversification is the most dramatic. And that is definitely where Harris is posting improvements tonight. I think we showed you Douglas County a few minutes ago. Again, rapid growth here. It's about half black. And you can see in 2020, 25 points. Tonight, Harris is winning this by 32 points. You see it in Rockdale County. Just about all of the vote is in here. Biden got 70%. Harris has pushed that up to 73. This is a majority black county. You can go to Newton County here. You know, this was the tightest margin of all these Atlanta metro counties. This was the tightest margin for a county that Democrats won. Almost all in 2020, almost all the vote is in. Harris has improved on it. You see this. You could take a look at Henry County. Almost 80% of the vote is in. Again, Biden won it by 20. Look at that. That's up to 30 or so for Kamala Harris. So the thing is, though, the counties I just showed you within this Atlanta metro region, relatively speaking, these are the lesser populated counties. The ones with the huge, the huge populations. You start with Fulton County, and we've been monitoring this. This is the biggest. Atlanta's here, but there's also a lot of suburbs within Fulton County. This is key for Democrats because of the sheer size of Fulton County. A drop of a couple points here would more than offset the gains that I just showed you in those other counties. 80% counted in Fulton County, and now you see Biden 72.6 in 2020. Harris has fallen a tick below that. Meanwhile, Trump 26.2 here in 2020 is a tick above his 2020 number. The concerning thing for Democrats here in massive Fulton County is with only 80% counted, there is still a significant, obviously, amount of same-day vote to come in. And you just saw, if you were watching earlier, this has gotten a little bit tighter. The Democrats have dropped a little bit since the last time we looked at this. That's because more same-day came in, and Harris fell below that Biden number. There's room for her to drop further here. And again, you know, just 1-2 points in Fulton County offsets a lot of the good Democrats might have done themselves in those other counties I just showed you. So see what happens there. We also have, look at this, Douglas, Cobb County. We also have, look at this. getting close in Cobb County again. Take a look at 2020 here. Joe Biden won this by 14 points. Now, right now, it's basically a 15-point margin. This is another one where that margin for Democrats was bigger earlier. It's come down as more same day has come in. And Cobb is a massive, massive county. Again, it's much bigger than any of those others that I just showed you. 82% more same day to come. That's concerning for Democrats if it starts dropping below that. And then Gwinnett County, this is the one that's been the slow one here in the region tonight. We're still where we were. So there's sort of a division here we're seeing between these suburban and metro counties here. Again, there's some clear Democratic growth, but they don't want slippage in those big ones as the remaining vote comes in. And again, just checking in, we showed you Cherokee. These are the big Republican sort of fringe Atlanta metro counties. Here's one, Forsyth County, where Trump is clearly has improved, I should say, a bit from 2020, a point higher than 2020. You can go over to Paulding County, though. This is interesting. Again, core Republican area, fast-growing. Dallas, Georgia is here. 29 points for Trump last time around, down to 24. So again, that's a feather in the Democrats' cap right there in Paulding County, bringing that Trump number down further. And finally, we close out on this. We're basically done in Fayette County. We ID'd this one at the start of the night as, look, if Democrats were actually flipping this, they are definitely having a good night in Georgia. Looks like they're going to come short. Harris has made progress here in this big suburban county here. Harris has made progress from 7 points, now sitting at 3 points. But is that progress enough for Democrats? Yes, absolutely. And this is how it goes in Arizona. They get to that 10 o'clock Eastern hour, and suddenly what you get out of, remember here, Maricopa County, that's what you're looking at right here where Phoenix is, more than 60% of the vote in the entire state is in here, and Maricopa County all at once releases this, more than half of its vote. Now, let me tell you what you're looking at here, because if you remember from 2020, the story in Maricopa and in Arizona is very distinct buckets of votes that come in at different times and that have very different looks in terms of which party they favor. What you get first and what you're looking at in Maricopa County, this is all of the in-person early vote, and this is all of the absentee, the mail-in vote that was received by last Friday. So that is what you get first here. That's what you're looking at. What will then happen in Maricopa County over the next few hours is they will count up the same day vote, the folks who went and voted today. That's typically a Republican-friendly batch of voters. So you'll see in the next few hours these numbers change, and then you will have the majority of the vote in Maricopa County will be in. And then we will wait, because every night now, going through the week, they're going to work through the rest of that vote by mail, the stuff that came in on Saturday, on Sunday, stuff that was dropped off today. There's still a lot of that to come, but as a starting point, if you compare this to 2020, when this number came out in 2020, Joe Biden had a high single-digit advantage over Harris in that initial batch in Maricopa County. If you remember, the story in 2020 all week was Trump trying to play comeback in Arizona. This is his starting point now in Maricopa. Also, the other big population center in Arizona, this is Pima County, where Tucson is. This is the more Democratic of the two big counties here. Again, basically the same deal. You've got this initial batch here that's half the vote. Again, Biden, you can see where he ran here in 2020. You can see what Harris is getting right now. But what will still be coming out later tonight in Pima will be that same day vote. So we'll see how that affects the count. And again, in Arizona, if we get through tonight and this thing is still very, very close, you're kind of locked in probably for a few days of results just because of that pace, where once a night you'll kind of get updates from these counties. So the question here obviously is, if somebody gets a clear advantage, this is the statewide number right now, half the vote has been counted out. We'll see in the coming hours if there's clear separation between these candidates at all. Otherwise, it could take some time there in Arizona. I want to return to Pennsylvania because I think we've got a pretty big development here in part of the story we've been following all night. We have been flagging Lackawanna County, big one where Scranton is, heart of Northeast Pennsylvania, a very contested region here politically. And the question has been, what would this land at? And you're now basically looking at it. This is probably it in Lackawanna County. And Kamala Harris is going to, this is where Scranton is. Kamala Harris, you see, winning this by 3 points over Donald Trump. But remember, we were using this as a gauge because in 2020, Joe Biden won this by 8.5 points, won the state. In 2016, Donald Trump lost this only by about 3.5 points, 3.4 points. This was a winning combination for Donald Trump. He won the state. This was a losing combination for Donald Trump. Tonight, at 3.1 points, his loss here in Lackawanna County is actually a little bit less than the 2016 margin. This was one of our key questions in Pennsylvania tonight. Would Donald Trump get back to his 2016 level in a big blue-collar county like this? Because there are a lot of big blue-collar counties like this throughout the contested northern tier of the battleground. This I'm flagging for you because we said it at the start of the night. We'd use this as a bellwether also because this is now the complete one. We've been looking for complete counties. We've got a complete county here. So that's what it lands at right there. That was the question we asked. We now have an answer. Luzerne County, another biggie. Again, this is all big blue-collar counties, northeast Pennsylvania, slowly getting that same day, that election day vote counted up. Trump's lead now is 11 points. This is where Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania is. He needs to hit this number and probably surpass it. So keep an eye as this remaining vote comes in. But like Lackawanna, that's what we're looking at. One other thing to note here. Now, look, half the vote is in. Philadelphia County is the same thing as Philadelphia City. They're the exact same thing. So that's what you're looking at here. We got half the vote in. And you see, Harris is going to win this thing in an absolute landslide. The question in Philadelphia has been the margin, because what we saw in 2020 was ever so slightly, even as Democrats won the state and improved on 2016, Joe Biden actually lost a little bit of ground in Philadelphia. And the reason he lost a little bit of ground in Philadelphia was Donald Trump performed a little bit better in some heavily Hispanic parts of the city. So the question, another key question tonight has been, do Democrats win that back? Do they win back the ground they lost? Do they lose further ground? Now, you can see Biden won Philadelphia 81-18, essentially, in 2020. And right now, it's 79-20. The key is this, as they count up, I keep saying the same day vote. I'm saying that because we know the same day vote is favoring the Republicans a bit. So when I say they're tallying up the same day, there's an expectation there that it's the best numbers for Trump that are still being tabulated right now. The twist in Philadelphia, though, is they still have tens of thousands of vote-by-mail ballots. And we expect at about midnight that they're going to release that second batch of vote-by-mail ballots. So as we get closer there, we're going to follow this and see if Trump can maintain this 20%, maybe even he grows it. That would be fantastic news for him if he does that. But at about midnight, a very big batch of what are going to be very Democratic-friendly votes are going to come in. And so that may answer or really get us close to an answer on this other key question we're asking in Pennsylvania. Are the Democrats able to hold what they have in Philadelphia and maybe even win back the lost ground from 2020? Or does Trump make further inroads? Because, again, this is a county where the Democrats won by about 470,000 votes in 2020. They want to hit that margin. They want to go higher on that margin tonight. So that's the drama in Philadelphia as this other half of the vote comes in. And we could just zoom right out and see. Oh, I was going to zoom out and show you the running statewide total, and I clicked Ohio for some reason. There you go. A little bit more than half statewide. That is Trump's lead statewide, but it's very spotty in terms of where you're seeing votes. Oh, there's one more I did want to flag for you. This is Cumberland County, because we do have about 3/4 of the vote in here. Why Cumberland County? Because we don't talk much about it, but there's a lot of population in this region of Pennsylvania. You got Lancaster County, you got York County. Here you got Cumberland County, Carlisle, Pennsylvania is in here. This is actually, you see red right now, this has been a growth area for Democrats. There's a lot of fast-growing suburbs in here. Again, demographically very conducive to the Democratic coalition. Right outside, right across the river from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. So Democrats made gains here in 2020. This was actually a very good performance for Joe Biden. Now, you see with almost 3/4 of the vote in, Trump's a little bit short of that number. That was a bad number for him, and he's a little bit short of it now. But this is the thing to look for. With all of this remaining Election Day vote still to be counted, we just saw this happen in Lackawanna County. Is that going to happen in Cumberland County? Is Trump going to gain enough that he hits that number and surpasses that 2020 number? This is the kind of place where his campaign needs to win back ground that they lost in 2020. This is a big part of why, or a significant part of why Trump lost Pennsylvania in 2020. So we're going to follow that as it continues to come in. And I can also note Butler County. This is red. Obviously, it was heavily in the news this summer with that Trump rally. Believe it or not, Butler County in the Trump era, which started in 2016, while it's still deeply red, has actually gotten less red. This has been a bit of a growth area, suburbs right outside Pittsburgh, some rural areas too. The Democrats actually, I'll just show you, put it up on the screen here. This was actually a bit disappointing for Trump in 2020. Just go back here and you can take a look. He won it by 37 points in 2016, only 32 in 2020. This is a place where Democrats would like to make more gains. Right now, it's basically exactly where it landed in 2020. And again, there's not a ton, but there's more of that same-day vote to come. And this is, again, the kind of place where the Trump campaign's goal coming into tonight would be to stop those losses that they were suffering, to stop that decline and maybe gain some ground back. So with most, not all the vote in Butler County, it doesn't look like they're going to fall back any farther. Just check in, too, on Allegheny County. There's more than 1 million people in Allegheny County. You think of the city of Pittsburgh, there's also just a ton of interior suburbs there, inner suburbs there. 3/4 of the vote in Allegheny. We'll just show you where this landed in 2020. And again, this is one of the few counties in Pennsylvania that's gotten more Democratic in the Trump era. But, it's huge, as we just say. So 60% is basically where Biden landed in Allegheny County in 2020, with about 3/4 of the vote in. And if you remember at the start of the night, we had all of that mail that was dropped in Allegheny County. Trump's been trying to chip away at that sense. We got to see what this remaining remaining 25% of the vote, if he can get back to that 2020 level here, Democrats really want to grow this. The other question we're going to try to get an answer on here, too, is if there is remaining vote by mail in Allegheny County. Because we say that's the wild card in Philadelphia now. We're going to check on that in Allegheny County and in Pittsburgh. But these are places, where Democrats just depend on big margins and where Harris is going to need even bigger margins, by a few points to offset potentially, for instance, what Trump just did in Allegheny County. In Lackawanna County, excuse me.
All right, Steve, we'll be back with you. We've got a few projections that we've got to catch up with.
Yeah, let's check in, Rachel. We'll start here on North Carolina. Look, again, 83% of the vote statewide now counted, and Trump with a 3-point advantage here. It's about 135,000 votes. Yeah, again, I think we're seeing some clear things we've taken you through, and they're being reinforced the more we look at here. We talked about the rural counties with large black populations where Democrats wanted to run up turnout and make some gains. That has not happened. You take a look at some of these big, well-populated, still Republican suburbs where Trump has had some slippage, where Democrats would need further slippage. We've singled out Union County before. Trump has actually gained ground in Union County. This is a gigantic one just outside of Charlotte. He's actually gained ground there relative to 2020 when this was a big reason the state got as close as it did. Another county that fits the bill here is Johnston County. Again, just very similar to Union County, just outside of Wake County. And again, it's not massive, but Trump doing a point better than he did. Harris doing a point worse than she did. Look, North Carolina is a state that is typically decided within the margins here. You know, the Republicans have been winning it since 2008, not in landslide margins. So when you have a 1-point swing towards Trump and a 1-point swing away from the Democrats, and you keep seeing that all over the place, boy, that really does start to add up. Even in a place here, 3/4 of the vote in Guilford County, where Greensboro is. This is part of the triad. This is one of the big Democratic vote-producing counties. But again, Biden was over 60% of the vote here, at nearly 61% of the vote in 2020. What's still to come in Guilford County is that Republican favoring a same-day vote. So you're really starting to see this lead that Trump has right here. The ingredients that are going into it are the ingredients he needed coming into the night. We'll just check in there. Coming into the night to have a good night in North Carolina. Take a trip down to Georgia. 86% of the vote counted now. Trump's margin over 153,000 votes. Remember, he lost this by about 12,000 last time around. We've been keeping an eye on Fulton County. Democrats need gains there. They can't afford any slippage. The same-day votes counted up here, being counted up here. And now you can see it. Harris has fallen more than a point below where Biden finished in 2020. Trump's improved by more than a point here. A county this size, well over 1 million people here. That is a significant shift there. And with more same day to come, that may get even worse for Democrats right there. You could take a look at Douglas County. We have Cobb County. Again, we still have vote to come in here, but Harris now basically falling back to Biden's level, the potential to slip even further there. Up here, again, I won't take you through the individual counties, but in North Georgia, this is just the overwhelming Republican part of the state. And this story is being repeated in county after county. Trump is performing better. He won these things by 75 points or so in 2020. He's performing even better in these counties. So look, just zoom out here and look at the implications of this potentially. If this continues with the votes that are still to come in Georgia, North Carolina, I say this as a very, very big if here, but if you just play this out to let you know about the implications here. If Trump gets Georgia, and if Trump gets North Carolina, okay, and there's no other surprises outside of the battlegrounds, and we already saw Iowa called. That was one of the potential surprises people were thinking about. With those two states, Trump would move probably to 251 expected electoral votes. And how many electoral votes are in Pennsylvania? The answer is 19. So if in the remaining votes in North Carolina and Georgia, Donald Trump is able to lock down victories in those states, I say if, but based on what I'm showing you, there's reason for hope for the Trump folks that could happen. If Trump wins those two states, he'd be at probably 251, and likely in that scenario, if he could get Pennsylvania, that would get him to 270. Now, Pennsylvania, still a scramble here. 57% of the vote is in. Just check in here on Luzerne County. We continue to get more vote out of here. This is one of the key bellwethers we're using because this is Northeast Pennsylvania. Boy, there's a ton of vote in here, and this is the area the Trump campaign said they're going to improve on 2020 here. Again, 2/3 of the vote in now. Trump is ticking up closer to that 2020 level here. So keep an eye on that and the rest of the state. But Pennsylvania, just given what we're seeing in Georgia and North Carolina, increasingly taking center stage right here as one that the Harris campaign has always wanted, felt they needed. If Trump gets Georgia and Trump gets North Carolina, then Pennsylvania becomes an absolute must for Democrats.
Steve, projections to make, NBC News has made a projection in the presidential race in Nebraska.
Yeah, in Michigan, and again, it's very scattered here, but there are a couple of big places I want to look at because they might be offering us some clues. Again, we say what some of these bigger counties, we have questions going into the night, specific questions about counties that, could be extrapolated potentially more broadly. Meaning, let's take a look here at one of the biggest. We flagged this one at the start of the night. This is Oakland County. This is a big, giant suburban county just outside Detroit, and this is of the two big suburban counties just north of Detroit. This is the Democratic one. This is the one, with a lot of college-educated, higher-income types, a lot of bedroom communities here. So look at this. 2/3 of the vote is now counted in Oakland County, and Harris is winning. The Democrats are supposed to win here. Her margin's inside 10 points. It's less than a 50,000 vote, raw vote margin here. I want to show you what this does in the context of other recent races. In 2020, this was a 14-point win for Joe Biden. And in 2016, this was an 8-point win for Hillary Clinton. And I don't think I need to tell you, this wasn't enough to win Michigan for Hillary Clinton. This was more than enough for Joe Biden to win Michigan. And this right now looks an awful lot like this. Remember our test coming into the night, one of them was to compare Oakland to its next door neighbor, Macomb. Macomb is blue right now. This is the blue-collar, Trump-friendly suburban county. There's almost no vote that's been counted there, so yet to be seen how this is going to measure up. But one of the reasons Democrats were able to win Michigan, why Joe Biden was able to win Michigan 4 years ago, was this. He was able to run up a monster number in a gigantic, highly populated suburban county, and it more than offset Trump's strength in the other gigantic blue-collar suburban county. This is a number, if this holds, that the Trump people would be very happy with. The Democrats want that back where it was in 2020. One other county that I think we can look at here and get a bit of a clue from, this is just outside of Lansing, and this is one at the start of the night that if the Democrats looked at, they would have said, we want to flip this county tonight. Let me just show you. It got super close in 2020. Joe Biden came less than a point away from winning it here. It had been a 5-point Trump county in 2016. Again, this is one of those places, the reason why Joe Biden was able to make the gains in Michigan, a big sort of suburban county, outside Lansing here. Biden nearly won it. And again, this 95% basically means all the vote is now in Eaton County. It's gone back to that 2016 level, 51-46, 49-44. That's what the Trump campaign wants to see in counties like this, where they had slippage in counties they won in 2020. They want to get that slippage back. We saw that earlier. We showed you Lackawanna County in Pennsylvania. They did that. They did this just outside Lansing. Here's another place where they really want to do that. You could see right here next to Oakland, it's Livingston County. Okay, this is a mix of sort of suburbia, some rural areas here too. It's gigantic, kind of between Lansing and Detroit. More than half the vote now counted in Livingston County. And again, just want to show you, this was a bad number for Donald Trump 4 years ago. He won this by a little bit less than 23 points. This was a good number for Donald Trump. He won the state of Michigan in 2016, winning here by about just under 30 points. And his margin tonight is looking more so far like 2016 than it is 2020. This is a pattern that's being repeated. We're showing you, not a lot of counties in Michigan have this much vote in, but in those that are, we're starting to see this. And again, we're seeing this in other areas of the battleground, the northern tier of the battleground. Pennsylvania, we had some more that just came in, almost completely here. It can take you through them. You can start right here, Berks County. Okay, this is where Reading is. One of the things we talked about, Reading has the highest concentration of Hispanic residents of any city in Pennsylvania. The Trump campaign said, we are going to make gains with Hispanic voters. The national exit poll is showing Trump making substantial gains with Hispanic voters tonight. I've seen counties way outside the battleground with large Hispanic populations where Donald Trump has made dramatic gains tonight, some in Virginia. Hudson County, New Jersey is another. And here in Berks County, again, with one of the larger Hispanic populations in Pennsylvania, here's Trump with just about, that's basically the vote here, winning it by 13. Look at that. 4 years ago, he won it by 8. This is exactly what the Trump campaign said it was going to do in a place like Berks County. It was going to take that, and it was going to make it double digits. They've made it double digits in Berks County. We check in on Luzerne County, and again, we've been talking about this one. As that same-day vote comes in, this is Wilkes-Barre, this is Hazleton, another county with a substantial Hispanic population, one of the highest in Pennsylvania. Now Trump has hit his 2020 number there, and he's got a long way to go here. All that vote that's still to come in, we expect to be Election Day vote. The pattern, the trend is pretty clear here. So again, you're seeing Trump in good position in one of those big counties, densely populated populated counties in northeast Pennsylvania. Take a look down here at Cumberland County. We talked about this one a little while ago. This was a big hope for Democrats in Pennsylvania coming into tonight. Again, 95% means basically it's all in Cumberland County. Again, 2020 looked like this. It's basically the same. It's a fraction of a point different. But that's a win for the Trump campaign because in the context, look at this, it was an 18-point race. Trump won here by 18 points in 2016. Democrats made a huge jump. This was one of their biggest in the state in 2020, bringing it down to 10. They wanted to keep this going tonight. They didn't. Trump was able to stop the losses in Cumberland County. So again, that's something that encourages that his campaign exactly wanted to see right there. We're starting to get Erie County. Again, this would be the vote by mail in Erie County. The story we've been talking about elsewhere now is going to play out in Erie. This is the bellwether. It's one of the two that switched sides to Biden in 2020. The name of the game in the final two-thirds of the vote is, can Trump catch Harris with the election day vote? Just checking in on Philadelphia, we're up to two-thirds of the vote now in Philadelphia. And again, this is just Philadelphia, the city. And again, I think this is becoming a bit of a theme we're seeing in multiple states now, the Hispanic vote. Why did Trump make some progress? It was small, but it was there in Philadelphia in 2020. It was because he improved with Hispanic voters in Hispanic areas of the city. With two-thirds of the vote in Philadelphia now, it's 77-21. Well, that looks terrible, but compare that to 2020, and look at that. Trump is running 3.5 points better in Philadelphia than he did in 2020. Harris now 4 points off the Biden number. There is more mail to come, more vote by mail to come in Philadelphia. That will be a boost to Harris, but there's also more same-day vote to come. And you can see Trump is running above his 2020 levels there. So where this lands, the Trump campaign's goal in Philadelphia is basically get that Biden number under 80%. So far, they're on course to do that. There's the wild card of the mail there. That adds a lot of volatility to this. But again, you're starting to, as these counties fill in, you're starting to see some patterns, and patterns you're not just seeing in one state, you're seeing them in multiple states right now.
We've got a few calls to give you an update on.
just happened, we can tell you about one. We've been following North Carolina, where statewide you can see 85% of the vote now in. Donald Trump maintaining that lead in the neighborhood of 150,000 votes. The big thing that just happened is we have been talking about the giant, core city counties where Democrats need the big margins. We've been waiting all night on Mecklenburg County. This is where the city of Charlotte is. Now we've got almost all of Mecklenburg County has now been reported out. Harris, no surprise, landslide margin here, but this is short of where Joe Biden was here 4 years ago. Joe Biden won Mecklenburg by 35. Right now it's 32.5. And again, this number, Biden lost North Carolina narrowly, but he lost it 4 years ago. The name of the game for Democrats was to make a jump here tonight. You can look at it, do it in the raw vote, and you'll really see it. 378,000. That's the number of votes Joe Biden got here in 2020. 179,000 Trump. That is essentially a 200,000 vote margin that Democrats got out of Mecklenburg County 4 years ago. Not quite enough to win the state, but the name of the game for them tonight was build on that. Drive that over 200,000. With 90% in, there is still some votes to come in, so this is going to change, but you can see clearly the difference here is sitting at less than 175,000. So instead of going north of 200,000, it is on pace to finish south of where they were 4 years ago. So that's a significant development. Democrats looking at North Carolina all night have wanted something giant to come out of Mecklenburg. We just basically got Mecklenburg. That's what it is. The other one that I think is notable, we don't quite have all of it, but in Wisconsin, again, nearing 60% of the vote in statewide, razor thin. But again, one of those questions we asked at the start of the night, getting some clarity, and it's in the most Democratic vote-producing margin county in the state, Dane County. Almost 90% of the vote in here. We're getting close to all the vote in Dane County. Significance here, Democrats rely so much on Dane County in Wisconsin now because they've lost so much ground in the rural areas of this state. I said at the start of the night, every single presidential election this century, the Democrats have added to their margin in Dane County. They have squeezed more and more and more out of it. Take a look at this. 4 years ago, Biden wins Dane County. The University of Wisconsin is here by 53 points, and that is a margin of about get that marker working. That's a margin of about 182,000 votes. Name of the game tonight was to hit that number and go further, like they have in every election this century in Dane County, with about 90% and still some votes to come. But you can see how far short they are of that number. 149,000 right now. 182 was the number back in 2020. This is the county Democrats rely on here. Also in the WOW counties, the question coming in tonight, the WOW counties being the big suburban bedroom communities right outside Milwaukee. Coming into the night, they're red now. They've consistently been red. How much less red would they get? We keyed in on Ozaukee County. Okay, this is now 60% of the vote is in Ozaukee County. Significance here is Trump lost in 2016, he won the county, but he lost so much ground that this was the worst Republican performance in Ozaukee County since 1964. This fits the profile demographically of exactly where Democrats thought they could knock it out of the park tonight. Knock it out of the park in Ozaukee County means get this down to single digits, something like that. Instead, 60% of the vote in. We'll see what happens the rest of the way. But so far, Trump has stopped the losses in Ozaukee County, which had been considerable. The decline in Ozaukee County, which had been considerable since he became the Republican candidate in 2016, and now leading by more than 14 points here. So those are some big counties, significant counties, politically significant counties, where we now have a giant chunk of the vote, and we can start to see some patterns developing. Again, just checking in statewide, close to 60%. It is very close there statewide, but that is a county, a few counties where we have that much vote in that size. That's very significant, potentially, what we just saw in Dane County.
Steve, as we head towards the 11 o'clock poll closing.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, I understand. Did you just throw it at me? Oh, somebody was talking to me about IFB. I apologize. Here we go. Some more returns in Pennsylvania. As I gather my train of thought here, I wanted to update you on 3 key counties here, again, in Northeast Pennsylvania. We started the night saying, and we've said it a few times, that there are only 2 counties in Pennsylvania that are true swing counties. That is to say, they backed Donald Trump in 2016 when he won the state. Then they flipped over and they backed Joe Biden when he won the state in 2020. One of them is Erie County, where you see right now about half the vote is in. Harris is ahead here. This is primarily on the strength of the vote by mail. The question is, as the rest of the vote comes in, which we know is Republican friendly, is Trump going to catch Harris there? Put a pin in that one, because the other one, we pretty much have all the vote in right now, and it's flipping. Northampton County, this is where Easton, Pennsylvania is. This is the other county that flipped to Joe Biden in 2020 when he won the state. This fits a pattern we started talking about a little bit ago. There's a substantial Hispanic population in this county, and Donald Trump has made meaningful gains here. Joe Biden won this by a fraction of a point. It's now more than 5 points in Trump's favor, with just about all the vote counted up. We also just got a lot of the vote, almost all of it now, in Lehigh County. And again, Joe Biden won here by 8 points in 2020. It's a little under 5 right now. What's in Lehigh County? The city of Allentown is in Lehigh County. It is a majority Hispanic county. Both candidates paid a lot of attention to this. The Trump folks have bet on making gains with Hispanic voters, particularly in cities like Allentown in Pennsylvania. We don't have all the returns in from the city of Allentown yet, but what we do have shows Trump making significant further gains in that city. We also have from Monroe County just about all the vote in. This is the city of Stroudsburg. East Stroudsburg is here. Again, substantial growing Latino population. And look at this. In 2020, Joe Biden won here by 6.5 points. Kamala Harris now ahead by 0.7 of a point with just about all the vote in. Something else we've been seeing tonight. This is really, I keep pointing it out because I keep seeing it, and I think it's important to know. There's a lot of counties like this in Pennsylvania and Michigan and Wisconsin where Donald Trump either won or came very close in 2016, and he lost meaningful ground in 2020 when he lost all 3 of those states. And we keep seeing this tonight. Where he's landing tonight is back where he landed in 2016. These were winning numbers for Trump. These were losing numbers from Trump. This is another county where you're seeing winning, the 2016 winning numbers for Trump. And just to put Lehigh in perspective here too, Lehigh County, again, I think we showed you 8 for Biden, less than 5 tonight. So you're also seeing it there. We continue to see it. Philadelphia, we're monitoring this as well. Now, more than 80% of the vote is counted here. Again, compare this to 2020. Biden won here 81-18. We're going to take it a step further back because I want you to see the longer term trend here. In fact, I can take it all the way back to 2012 because I think it's an interesting story. In 2012, Barack Obama won this county by 71 points. Okay, the county, it's Philadelphia. It's the city of Philadelphia. Donald Trump in 2016, he brought it down to 67 points. In 2020, Trump lost ground in the state. Trump lost the entire state of Pennsylvania. But look at this. He basically brought it down to 63 points from 71, 67, 63. And tonight, right now, this is down to 56 points. From 71 in 2012 down to 56. Again, what are we seeing here? What we saw in 2020, the Hispanic precincts of Philadelphia, we saw meaningful improvement for Donald Trump. We're not talking about 10, 20, 30 points here. We're talking about enough, though, to bring 67-point gap down to 63, and tonight, currently 56. The margin for Kamala Harris in Philadelphia right now is just about 300,000 votes. Democrats would love to see that land tonight at 500,000. Boy, they got a long way to go to get there. The one thing Democrats have to hope for in Philadelphia right now is there is a large number of vote by mail ballots that are going to be released. Looking at my clock here, we think in the next 45 minutes or so. That should boost the Harris number in Philadelphia. That should boost the margin there. But she needs to get that back at least to where Joe Biden was 4 years ago. She needs to get that margin way up. I'm just going to take a quick look through the collar counties here because I think we're starting to get some meaningful vote. Again, these collar counties, especially Delaware, Chester, and Montgomery County, have become big, core Democratic vote-producing counties. Delaware County is the most Democratic of these 3. And you can see it was 63-36 here in 2020. The name of the game in all these counties, Democrats want to be landing north of the Joe Biden number from 2020. They're on the Joe Biden number in Delaware County right now. Take a look out in Chester County. Again, this is where Democrats, I said at the start of the night, they want to land over 60% in Chester County. 59-8 for Harris right now, but the wild card is waiting on a lot of same-day vote. Is that going to affect that number for Harris right now? And move up to Montgomery County. You know, you got cities here on the towns on the main line here, old school. 26 points for Joe Biden. It's 30 right now. Again, 30 would be where Democrats want this to land. The danger for them, though, is there's still a significant amount of same-day vote there. But Democrats need Philadelphia to come through on the mail. They need massive margins to hold in these counties, and they're also going to need that. We'll just check quickly in Allegheny County. We're getting close, by the way. Pittsburgh suburbs, we're getting close to 90% of the vote here. And again, that Harris number here right now is small, but it is slightly under the Biden number. The Trump number, 0.4 of a point better than 4 years ago. If this is basically a push with 2020, the Trump folks, if you offered them that at the start of the night, I think they would have taken it. We'll see what that remaining vote does.
Steve, thank you. We've got a few calls that we have to make in Senate races.
Okay, this is all I'm gonna get, cause this probably finna go on a couple more days. Y'all let me know the result or whatever if y'all want to, which I really don't care, cause I don't. But the way this is going, don't nobody really know who's the fucking winner and stuff. But yeah, I feel after when this video hit almost 2 hours, I'm finna stop it, okay? Cause I need space on my phone. I ain't got no money right now. I won't get money until the 7th. So, and I pay Google for extra space. The extra space is a fucking kicker. And can't really tell if it actually worked or not like that. But yeah, that's it.